Hi, geometry students. Today we're going to learn about special triangles. What does special mean? Unique, just like you and me, baby. The first special triangle that we're going to talk about is a 30, 60, 90 triangle. Why do you think it's called a 30, 60, 90 triangle? If you take a closer look at the angles, one's 30, one's 60, and one is 90. Now, if you remember the rule about unequal sides, unequal angles, opposite 30 is going to be the smallest side. Opposite 60 will be the medium side, and opposite 90 is the longest side. But there's going to be a special relationship between all of the sides that make it easier. So on this next slide, that if I put the number 4 here, say this is 4 inches, right? There's an easy relationship from 4 to the hypotenuse. In order to go from 4 to the hypotenuse, I need to multiply that by 2. So that means 4 times 2, that gives me 8. Now to go to the opposite 60, right? Remember this, you're always going to go back to the smallest side. It makes it easier. To go from opposite 30 to opposite 60, you always multiply that 4 times root 3. And you cannot simplify that because 4 root 3 is really 4 root 3. Once again, we're going to start with opposite 30. And it may help knowing that opposite 30 is the smallest. So if this was 10, the easiest move, like the easiest dance move, would be like the step and the clap or the mom dance, would be to go from here to here. So if this is 10, this has to be 20. And if this is 10, this has to be, what? 10 root 3, which is not 30. And that was both of those starting with opposite 30. This is just a reminder, and this is in the wrong place, that when you do the MCAS or the PARC or whatever it's called, the relationship is going to be on the MCAS formula. So now we're going to start with the hypotenuse. So if I start with the hypotenuse, that's always the longest side. So if the longest side is 100, shine down on me, right? Once again, the easiest move, like the step and clap, is to go from 100 to this side opposite 30. So if this is opposite 30, and when we went the opposite way, we multiplied by 2. To go backwards, we have to divide by 2. So 100 divided by 2 would be 50. So if that's 50 centimeters, to go to this one, we would multiply by what number? Remember, radical 3. So it'll be 50 radical 3. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Once again, we're going to start with the hypotenuse. Now, let's say the hypotenuse is an odd number. We can still figure this out. If this is 15 inches, right, easiest move, go backwards. We divide by 2, which would be, what? 7.5. And then the opposite 60, once again, 7.5 root 3. Now, the hardest move, kind of like doing the worm or like the gas light, no, the gas pedal, is the next example when we start with opposite 60, which is the medium side. Now, oftentimes, opposite 60 will have root 3 actually visible. So this could be 3 times root 3. Right? And remember when we went from the smallest side to the biggest side, we had to multiply by root 3. So if we go from, or the bigger leg, sorry, to go from the bigger leg to the smaller side, we need to divide by root 3. So it's really 3 root 3, I apologize, divided by root 3, and the root 3's cancel out, not the 3's, so you get 3. And then we go back to the easy step and clap. 3 times 2 is 6. Okay? And we'll get to more complicated ones later on. Now, one more example. If this is, we're starting with opposite 60, and this is 10 root 3. Going this way, you would divide by root 3 to just get 10. And then going this way, we'd get 10 times 2, which would be 20. Okay? Now, once again, remember, we have a triangle, and I don't know how to insert a triangle. When we have a triangle, sometimes the angles are in a different place. So if this is my 30, 60, 90 triangle, my 30-degree angle could be up here, and my 60-degree angle could be up here. So remember that if the 30-degree angle is here, the shortest side would be in this location. So that would be x. And then the 60, opposite 60 would be x root 3. And then the hypotenuse, therefore, would be the longest side. And the longest side would be 2 times x, which would be 2x. Now, I would like to thank you for listening and learning from my video. And for homework, you will have an attached worksheet, which will probably be a different assignment. You get to cool it now. Down, down. You get to lose control.